DB pension transfer. If you found this video, it's highly likely you've got a DB scheme, you're wondering what to do and should you transfer. My name is Dominic James Murray. I'm CEO and founder here at Cameron James. I've been CEO for 8 years, I should say. So I'm here to share everything that I can in regards to DB pension transfer advice. Okay, so it's a big decision, no doubt. You have a defined benefit safeguarded asset of over £30,000 and you must legally require advice before you can take a decision on whether you transfer it out or not. Even if you didn't legally require advice, I would still say that people should be taking advice on whether to transfer out or not. Now, in the current situation of what we're seeing in the industry, I'd like to be very clear right from the beginning. 95 out of 100 people, based on our experience, are being advised to maintain their DB pension. That means no pension transfer, keep it inside the DB scheme and take all the benefits, the uplift, indexation, the final salary you're going to get, because that will continue to grow over the course of time. In the minority of situations, somebody may have extenuating circumstances, say serious ill health or something like that, which may push the pension transfer specialist to see the rationale to advise someone to complete a transfer out. Now, most of my clients hate it when I say this to them. Oh, it's my money, I should be able to do what I want with it, etc., etc., etc. Now, the reason the pension transfer specialist is giving a negative advice outcome or a negative DB report, as we could refer to it, is they're looking at the empirical data. Your DB scheme in the UK is promising you that your annual pension from your normal retirement age, typically 60 or 65, is guaranteed to grow, typically in line with CPI, IPI, whatever it is that your scheme is using. Again, one of the important points why you should be using a financial advisor to actually understand what your indexation is inside your scheme. For a pension transfer specialist, that is a guaranteed income for life. From an FCA perspective, from a money helper perspective, and from a pensions regulator perspective, someone has a guaranteed asset that's going to grow. That is so rare in this day and age. What other assets can you have that are guaranteed to grow? Now you can say, oh, the equity markets are guaranteed to grow. No, they're not. Yes, the S&P 500 has done 10% over the course of the year over the past 30 to 40 years, but it's not guaranteed. You could have a lost decade like we had with the S&P 500 previously, in which case that asset wouldn't have grown. Now, obviously, you wouldn't just have S&P 500 in your portfolio, it'd be a diversified portfolio, what would be here at Cameron James anyway. But if the S&P 500 is not growing, there's a very good chance the rest of the global economy is not particularly performing that well as a whole. So why would anyone want to even consider doing a DB pension transfer, moving from something guaranteed to something which is not guaranteed? Well, this is the part of the human emotion and human situation comes into things. Not all financial planning decisions are based on the empirical data. A lot of clients will fully understand the situation and that maintaining their DB scheme might, empirically speaking, be the best financial advice from them, and they will accept that advice from the pension transfer specialist. However, a lot of clients will say, respectfully Cameron James, respectfully pension transfer specialist, I understand the advice you've given me. I understand why you've advised me to keep my DB scheme, what the cost would be if I wanted to get a similar an annuity or something in the marketplace. However, for XYZ reasons, I wish to still proceed, exercise my right to transfer my pension out. Now, some common reasons for that. One, it comes down to flexibility. DB scheme is fantastic. From 60 or 65, you have a guaranteed income from life. Brilliant. For some people, that might be exactly what you want. For other people, they might say, well, I've been working for 30 years in this company. I'm now 55. I actually want to spend more time with my kids, grandkids, go swimming, fishing, whatever their hobbies in life or interest in life may be. I don't want to do that when I'm 65, when potentially my health might not be as good as it is now. I want to transfer into something, say a SIP or a defined contribution scheme, where I am in control of the drawdown of that capital over time. This is what we refer to as the golden years, okay? And I'm always talking to my clients about this. The first 10 years of your retirement, you may say, I want these to be my golden years. I want to take 1 or 2 great holidays per year. I want to spend more money. I want to join tennis club, do this, do that. And then for the remainder of my retirement, I might just call them normal retirement years, where I will spend less money. So say we take an example. Someone might say, in my first 10 years, I want to draw down £50,000. In the following 20 years after that, I plan to draw down £30,000 or whatever it might be. Now, obviously, we'd have to do full cash flow planning with a client to understand this situation, how it may affect the long-term planning. But inside a DC or a SIP, they can do that. Inside a DB, they cannot do that. So they might be saying, I understand the DB is valuable, but it doesn't allow me to do what I want in my life, with my family, with my goals and my objectives. But the pension transfer specialist, again, I remind you, 95 times out of 100, they're going to have to come to the conclusion that the DC scheme is obviously empirically worse off for the client than the DB scheme, and they are doing their job. They're doing the job correctly in making that assertion. Now, other reasons that people often consider transferring a DB scheme is due to inheritance. Due to what happens after you die. Now, with a DB scheme, your spouse or your partner will typically get 50% of the annual pension guaranteed for life, which will also continue to grow, which is a great benefit. While statistically speaking, the chances of you and your partner or your spouse passing away together at the same time is very slim, emotionally, for a lot of clients, they do not like the idea of that. Say you have £1 million DB, you and your partner, husband, spouse, wife are in a car and you have a car crash. That pension pot might not pass to anyone in your family. Chance of that happening, probability-wise, very, very low. Chance of that going through clients' head and making them feel scared and worried, very high. I have clients over the course of the years whilst going through a two-advisor model with us with a pension transfer specialist saying, Dominic, I know empirically speaking, I'm better off to keep my DB scheme. And I know empirically speaking, I'll probably live into my 80s and my 90s. I just cannot get this worry out of my head that my kids are going to get next to F all for having working in a firm for such a long period of time. I want to take the risk and move myself outside of the DB scheme. Now, obviously, sometimes with some trustees, they may allow a 25% income for children if they're in full-time education or anything like that. But typically speaking, that's at the discretion of the trustees. Now, I don't like the word discretion when it comes to someone's financial planning. I want my clients to be in control of their financial planning. By having a DB scheme, you're in control of it. You know what your income is going to be and what your spouse is going to get. Anything outside of that is often at the discretion of the trustee, which isn't necessarily what clients want to go to sleep at night feeling comfortable with things. The other thing is risk. Now, inside a DB scheme, one of the massive benefits is you have no investment decisions to be made. You also have no cost. Your cost is being paid by your employer for you being an employee of theirs. Typically, it's outsourced to a third-party DB scheme. However, a lot of clients, they say, I want to take on more risk with my capital than what's currently happening inside my DB scheme. Is it possible to outperform a DB scheme inside a DC scheme? Yeah, of course it is. You look at the S&P 500 year to date, I'm filming in December 2024, circa up 26% when I checked on Friday. Obviously, having a portfolio 100% invested in the S&P 500 will be extremely undiversified, but it gives you a clear understanding and indication. So DC schemes can outperform DB schemes if they're invested correctly and well diversified, low cost, etc. However, there's no guarantee of that. The DB scheme gives you guarantee that for the rest of your life, you will have that income. Now, if you're watching this video and you're not sure which category you fall into, or you think, actually, no, I do think I want to proceed, or I want to at least understand a bit more about this, get in touch below. One of the things I find most frustrating with clients, which I also understand, is people feel like they shouldn't reach out. Don't email, don't give contact details because suddenly something's going to happen, your DB pension's going to go somewhere. Trust me, it takes months and months and months of work, sometimes just to get the required information from your DB scheme with the cash equivalent transfer value, check all the information that has been missed. You then need to go through a full and thorough advice process. I would say maybe 20, 25, 30 signatures are required for all the necessary paperwork before you get anywhere near close to transferring a DB scheme. So do not be afraid to reach out to me or any other credible pension transfer specialist or advisory firm working as part of a two-advisor model to understand your situation and explain your things to them. Obviously, it's only the pension transfer specialist that can write the authorized and regulated advice report, but any advisor or a good advisor should be able to help you ascertain the facts and the information from your DB scheme in the UK. I hope this has been useful, and I really want to hear in the comment section below from any of you who have either done a DB pension transfer, have decided not to do a DB pension transfer, what your experience has been. Any of our existing clients watching this, I'd love for you to be in the comment section below, sharing your experience of working with Cameron James. And as always, team, clients, please take care of your UK pension assets.